Ever get that feeling? You know, when a total stranger just shows up right when you need help. Someone with like uncanny insight and then poof, they're gone as quick as they appeared.
Oh, yeah, it's like something right out of those old folk tales, right?
Totally. Well, get this. Today's deep dive, we're looking at a figure a lot of people think is actually out there walking among us. A real presence, but super mysterious, shrouded in this kind of mystical aura. We're talking Khidir.
Yeah. I remember you shared this YouTube video exploration of Keter, right? Drawing on the Quran, all those other holy books. Man, such a fascinating mix of ideas about his background, this totally unique knowledge he has, and whether he's still out there doing his thing, shaping the world in ways we might not even realize.
You got it. So in this deep dive, our mission, or should we choose to accept it, is to crack this whole Khidir thing wide open. Who is he really? What's up with this extraordinary way he exists? And maybe most importantly, what can his story tell us, about our own lives?
Mm.
Our main source for this whole shebang is the transcript of that YouTube video. It pulls together a whole lot of beliefs and interpretations from Islamic scriptures and different scholars about this seriously enigmatic figure. So, ready to jump down the rabbit hole?
Let's do it.
All right, first things first. Who exactly is this mysterious Khidir dude? What's with all the hype?
Well, right off the bat, Khidr is presented as this figure shrouded in like pure mystery throughout history. He's supposed to possess this secret, crazy, powerful form of knowledge called ilm laduni. And get this, it's knowledge straight from God. No need for learning or any human teachers, like a direct download.
Whoa, knowledge straight from the source, huh? Talk about a shortcut.
Right. And it's said that with Allah's permission, he can peek into the past and future. And there's even this idea that he can kind of break free from the limits of time and space. Like he's not stuck in the same reality we are.
Mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah.
That definitely bends the rules of how we usually think about things. The transcript also mentions his duties, right? Like his job description isn't exactly normal. It says they're unusual, and he's supposed to keep doing them till Judgment Day, or Qiyamah, as they call it. Now, that's a serious commitment.
Yeah, talk about job security.
Wow.
But it also suggests this idea that God's involved in the world, still actively working things out. And you know where else this comes up? He's actually mentioned in the Qur'an itself, in the Surah Al-Kahf, chapter 18. It calls him one of our servants, blessed with this special kind of knowledge.
It's funny, though. His name, Khidir, isn't right there in that passage. But like the video said, most Islamic scholars agree that the guy in Surah Al-Kahf is Khidir. So even within the Holy Book, there's this puzzle, this hidden meaning, which just adds to his mystique.
Exactly. It's like a riddle wrapped in an enigma, right? And when we dig into his origins, how he managed to live so freaking long, the story gets even wilder. The transcript lays out several different takes on his birth.
Yeah, no clear-cut origin story, more like a choose-your-own-adventure kind of thing. Some stories go way back, saying he descended from Hezron, a son of Cain, which makes him Adam's grandson, right? Putting him right at the start of human history, according to those beliefs.
Crazy, right? But then you have other traditions that place him way later, saying he's from the family of Shem, Noah's son. That puts him with the folks who survived the flood.
Whoa. So a connection to this massive world-changing event. And then there's this whole idea that he and Dulqarnain, who some people link to Alexander the Great, were cousins. So many threads trying to tie his story together. It kind of makes you think, are we supposed to take his origins literally, or is there a symbolic layer to it?
That's a great question, really gets at the heart of it. These different stories probably show how long his legend has been around, different cultures and times trying to fit him into their own history and spiritual ideas. And his name itself, Al-Khidr, it has a super cool story connected to his seemingly magical presence.
Right. The video mentions a hadith, one of those sayings or actions attributed to the Prophet Muhammad. It explains why he's called Al-Khidr, which basically means the green one. Get this, it says that wherever he sat on dry, dead grass, it had instantly turned green, like bursting with life. Talk about a green thumb. It really emphasizes this life-giving energy around him.
It does, right? Like he's a walking, talking force of nature. This incredible connection to vitality, renewal, makes you think maybe he's the reason we have chia pets. But jokes aside, it brings up the big, almost unbelievable question. How's he been alive for so long? This is where the story takes a seriously fantastical turn.
Totally. The transcript shares this crazy story from Jafar Sadiq, a major figure in Shia Islam, who heard it from his dad. It involves Khidir and an angel.
Right. And it basically says that Khidir was looking for a way to, extend his life, and this angel showed him where to find the water of eternal life, the Abi Hayat. It was hidden in this super dark place.
And the story says Khidir found the water and drank it. But Dhul-Qarnayn, even though he was looking for it too, never found it. So according to this story, that's why Khidir's been kicking it for so long.
Wild, right? It speaks to divine favor, like destiny had something special planned for Khidir. And the transcript brings up another belief. Khidir doesn't live like us regular folks.
Yeah, it says he doesn't need food or water the way we do. He's on this second level of life. It's almost like he's in a totally different state of being, of consciousness.
Exactly. And this ties into the idea of Khidir and Ilyas, another dude a lot of people believe is still out there. They both exist freely, not bound by time or location. The video even says they could be in multiple places at once. Like, they're not limited by the rules of physics as we know them.
Operating on a whole other level. And the fact that they can eat and drink, but don't have to, is interesting too. It implies this existence beyond our basic human needs. Now, the transcript also throws in this spiritual idea, this station of Khidir. What's that all about?
It's a bit of a head-scratcher. It refers to a spiritual rank or level that some people, through deep devotion or divine grace, can reach. It suggests you could have this direct connection to Khidir, like a mystical link, even learn from him directly.
So it's not just about Khidir himself, but the potential for us to interact with him, learn from him on the spiritual plane. And the video really hammers home his role as a helper, right? Like when the going gets tough, Khidir gets going.
Totally. He's seen as this figure who, with Allah's permission, steps in to solve problems, help people who are genuinely trying to live a righteous life. And the kicker, his help often comes out of nowhere, from sources you'd never expect.
A true guardian angel kind of vibe. And his sheep-shifting thing, that's huge, right? Someone you bump into on the street could be him, and you wouldn't even know it. Changes how you look at every interaction, doesn't it? But if he can be anyone, how do you tell if it's really him or just our own wishful thinking?
That's the million-dollar question, and traditions don't really have a simple answer. It's like, if you meet Khidir, you'll probably know it more from how things change afterward, the wisdom you gain, not from recognizing him outright. It's about being present, open to the possibilities in each moment. And then there's his unique knowledge, al-Asrar, or al-Ilm. It's said to hold the past and future, a gift from God, not something you learn from books.
So this inborn divine wisdom, way beyond anything we could ever figure out on our own. The transcript also mentions this belief from Al-Bara that Khidir's one of 4 prophets still alive, protecting the earth and everyone on it. It's a powerful thought, right? These figures keeping the world in balance, spiritually.
It is. But there's actually some debate among scholars about whether Khidir is a prophet in the traditional sense or just a super righteous servant of God. The video mentions this, showing how complex his theological status really is.
And then you have these vivid stories like Khidir and Ilyas meeting every night at the wall Dhul-Qarnayn supposedly built, and their yearly pilgrimage to Mecca, sustained by a single sip of Zamzam water from that sacred well. These details bring the legend to life. You know, it paints a picture of them constantly doing their thing outside of time as we know it.
Totally. It weaves this story of continuous, timeless action, emphasizing how they exist differently than us. And there's this story from Ibn Asakir saying Khidir buried Adam's body. It adds to his ancient origins and maybe explains his crazy long lifespan. Like he got this gift of longevity because of that sacred act.
Wow. Imagine being present at the very beginning of humanity. That's heavy. And Imam Ravani says he saw Khidir and Ilyas in their spiritual form, and they can actually take on human bodies. It's like they're on a different plane, but they can project themselves into our world when they need to. Bridges the gap between the spiritual and physical, right?
Exactly. But the most famous part of Khidir's story, and a huge lesson for all of us, is his journey with Prophet Musa, Moses and other traditions.
This is a big one, told in detail in the Qur'an's Surah Al-Kahf. It all starts with Musa's people being amazed by his vast knowledge, wondering if anyone knew more than him.
And Allah tells Musa, nope, there's this servant of mine with even greater knowledge. He could be found where 2 seas meet, possessing knowledge beyond what Musa had.
So even Musa, this great prophet, super wise and knowledgeable, was told to find someone with an even deeper understanding, given directly by God. And the way Allah tells him to find Khidir is super strange. It involves a fish in a basket.
Yeah, Musa was told to look for the place where the fish would miraculously disappear, then come back to life. That's where he'd meet Khidir. Talk about a divine scavenger hunt.
So Musa sets off with his young helper Joshua, and after a while they stop near a rock to rest. And while they're sleeping, the fish jumps out of the basket and back into the sea.
But get this, Joshua forgets to tell Musa. It's only when Musa mentions being tired and hungry that Joshua remembers. And Musa realizes, bam, that's the sign.
They go back to the rock, and who do they find? A man wrapped in a cloak. That's Khidir. And the transcript says Khidir already knew why Musa was there, even before Musa said anything. Again, showing that divine knowledge at work.
It's like he's always a step ahead. So Musa asks Khidir if he can follow him, learn from him, and Khidir's response, well, it's a big lesson in itself.
He basically tells Musa, you won't be able to handle this. I do things you won't understand. It shows how even prophets with all their wisdom can't always grasp the ways of God.
Deep stuff. But Musa insists, promises to be patient, follow the rules. So Khidir agrees, but with a condition. Musa can't ask about anything he does until Khidir explains it himself. And this sets up 3 key events, each one pushing Musa's patience to the limit.
First, they're on a boat with some poor fishermen, and Khidir straight up damages the boat, punches a hole in it. Musa flips out, dude, why are you hurting these people who helped us?
Totally understandable reaction, right? Seems like a jerk move. But Khidir calmly reminds him about the patience thing. Musa realizes he messed up, apologizes.
But then things get even crazier. They're in a village where people are rude, and Khidir kills a young boy, seemingly out of nowhere. Musa's obviously horrified, can't believe what he's seeing.
I mean, killing an innocent kid, that's beyond messed up from any normal perspective. Khidir reminds him again about the patience rule and says this is their last chance. One more slip up and they're done.
Musa, feeling bad and desperate to learn, promises to keep quiet. Then comes the third event. They find a crumbling wall in this unfriendly village, and Khidir fixes it, doesn't even ask for payment. Musa's confused again. We could have at least gotten some cash, especially since these folks are jerks.
And that's when Khidir says, all right, time's up. But he keeps his word and explains why he did all those crazy things.
And these explanations, they reveal the deeper wisdom, the divine plan behind it all. About the boat, Khidir says there was this tyrant king seizing every good ship. By messing up the boat, he saved it from the king, protecting the poor fishermen.
What seems like destruction was actually an act of compassion. Then, about the boy, Khidir says the kid was destined to cause a lot of suffering and lead his parents away from their faith. So Allah, in his wisdom, decided to take the boy and replace him with a better one who would bring joy and faith to the family.
It's a tough concept to grasp, but it points to this idea that God knows the future and sometimes intervenes to prevent even greater harm. And finally, about the wall, Khidir explains it belonged to 2 orphans, and under it was a treasure their father left them. By fixing the wall, Khidir protected their inheritance until they were old enough to get it.
So in each case, Khidir's actions seemed bad, illogical, even cruel at first. But they were guided by a higher wisdom, a divine plan that Musa couldn't see right away. And most importantly, Khidir says he did it all because Allah told him to. It wasn't his own decision, but a divine command.
It's a huge lesson that even a prophet like Musa, with all his knowledge and insight, couldn't understand the reasons behind Khidir's actions. It shows how our human understanding is limited compared to God's infinite knowledge.
Right back to the core of Khidir's unique knowledge and abilities. The transcript says it's a direct gift from God, letting him see truths we can't even imagine and do incredible things.
Like shape-shifting, moving super fast, his prayers always being answered.
Okay.
All because of this direct connection to the divine. And they use this analogy in the traditions. Imagine a bird dipping its beak into the ocean. That drop of water is all of human knowledge, while the vast ocean is God's knowledge. Puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
It's a beautiful image. And there's even a hadith where Prophet Muhammad says he wishes Musa had been more patient so he could learn more from Khidir. It shows how much Khidir knew.
And many believe Khidir is still alive, walking among us, waiting till just before Judgment Day to help believers in times of trouble.
It's this idea of constant divine support, this guide always there to help those in need. Now think about it. How does this whole Khidir story speak to you? What does it mean for your life?
Well, one thing that hits home is the idea that there might be a reason behind things happening in our lives, even the bad stuff. When we face tough times, struggles, there could be a bigger reason, a divine purpose we don't understand right away.
It's about trust. Realizing our limited human view might not see the whole picture, the final outcome. The transcript also makes us think, maybe those in need, those who seem ordinary, could be more than meets the eye.
It's crazy to think someone you meet could be Khidir in disguise. Makes you think twice about how you treat people, right? But it also begs the question, if he's out there helping folks, why do bad things still happen?
Yeah, that's a tough one, and there's no easy answer. Maybe it's about free will, the choices people make, or maybe there are lessons in suffering, things we learn through hardship. But it's definitely something to ponder.
The video even connects this to pop culture, saying characters like that mysterious teacher in Game of Thrones, the one who trains Arya Stark, could be based on figures like Khidir. Shape-shifting, secret knowledge, shadowy missions. It shows how these ancient stories can still resonate with us today, even in our entertainment.
They tap into these timeless themes, these archetypes that we're drawn to, whether it's in ancient texts or modern TV shows. It's all about the search for wisdom, meaning, connection to something greater than ourselves.
So what's the takeaway from this whole Khidr deep dive? Well, it shows us that there might be knowledge out there beyond what we can grasp, unseen forces shaping the world, and the importance of trusting in God's plan, even when things don't make sense. The idea that Khidir could be out there, lending a hand in unexpected ways, makes you want to be more open to the world. Look for the hidden meaning in those chance encounters.
What if you lived every day like it was Laylat al-Qadr, the night of power? And what if you treated every stranger like they could be Khidr in disguise? How would that change how you see the world, how you interact with people? What kind of hidden layers of meaning would you start to see?
Definitely some food for thought. And we've only scratched the surface here. There's so much more to explore in the Qur'an, in Surah Al-Kahf, and in the writings of different scholars about this mysterious Khidr. So keep digging, keep searching, and maybe you'll find even more insights that resonate with your own journey.
And hey, if you think you've had an encounter with someone like Khidr, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your story.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Khidr. Until next time, keep those eyes peeled and those minds open.